Welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be showing you how to build a mangrove swamp house, so your houses can fit in better with the new biomes. So immediately, let's just cover the palette. So, pretty simple. We're going to be using tiled deep slate for the roof, and polished deep slate just as a nice little accent, and little things to connect the mangrove logs, which will be like support beams. We're going to be using some good old mangrove stripped logs for some trimming on the walls, mangrove planks for the other parts of the wall, jungle planks for the floor, and packed mud so that way we have a nice foundation. Because I'm going to be assuming that you're building on the water, but with a little bit of deforestation, this can also be done on land. So, our basic game plan for the build is to get a nice watery area. And we're going to punch out all the lily pads. I already punched out most of them. And what we're going to be doing is placing down some nice beams of mangrove logs. So don't really bother with counting the blocks for now. Just place down some logs and get a general shape going. So doing this, pretty simple. Possibly flatten any ground down here using some mud. Just a little aesthetic thing. So if you want to do that, you can. And we're just going to connect this across, make some more support beams, and one important thing we want to have is a dock. So make one part just go down a block or two, so that way you can make just a nice little dock, because you know, you're in a mangrove swamp. It's so watery here, so you probably just want a boat. So I have now gotten a little bit of a foundation, did a little bit of cleanup at the bottom, and what we want to do now is start making a basic staircase going down into the docks. Because just having the infrastructure to get here readily is more important than, getting everything else in. So, what we need to do is just make a nice slab staircase like this. Because, we have a pretty large area. Might as well just do it. And once we reach the bottom, go out for a couple more blocks until you reach the other end of your house. You can decorate this later. And what we do here is we just surround it with more mangrove stuff. So, just do the design you have for the foundation and do that. So, pretty simple. So, some limited decoration has been going on now. And what we need to do now is establish a foundation right here. So that way we can start just working on everything else. So, just get your packed mud bricks. Well, they're just called mud bricks, but you get them, and you just make a foundation. Respiration will be useful for this, as well as Swift Sneak. So I recommend if you have access to those, then you should probably use them. So, pretty simple, just make a foundation. And up here, I added some little railings here. And, that just looks nice, that's all. So, up here, we also need to have railings. And I haven't chosen a block to match this yet. But if you're having trouble, then I guess you can go with just simple deep slate slabs to top the fences, which are mangrove. So, did a little bit of railing work, added the foundation, and there's one thing I want to do before doing more extensive work on the house, which I've already started making segments of 3 for the walls, and those go into the water. What we want to do is make our dock. So, pretty simple. Repeat whatever you have going on here, and just make a section that just doesn't have a ground. So, you can, one, place your support beams in the wrong spot, and once you've done that, fix those, and make real ones, and you can just make your little walls here. So, you can copy whatever you have on this end, because why not? Or you could make a fence, and for this side, I'm going to just make another fence. So, pretty simple. And once you've done that, you can populate this with some chest boats, which will be very nice to have. So, it's now time to divide up the walls and just work on this place in general. And that is relatively easy. What we need to do is, of course, divide it up, preferably into sections of 3, but if it's not able to do that, then that's fine. And then you can get your stripped logs. We can start making walls. So they should be sunken in by one block. So kind of like this. And just repeating this design. And we can make a very nice red wall. So pretty simple. It might not be the best idea to include windows on corners, but still you get the general idea. You can put polished deep slate on the top and just repeat this everywhere. And you got pretty nice walls. Down here, use jungle planks. And that's literally the entire first floor's walls and floor. So, using those basic strategies, I have made some nice walls. And there is one thing I'd like to address about these wall designs. Wouldn't it be better to, do this? It does look better, but you do have an issue. Unless you have bark placed in a certain way, you're, of course, going to have that texture. So I'd recommend just doing this for the sake of simplicity, but depending on the way your place is angled, you might be able to do it. So it's actually not called bark, it's just called log or something. So if I can remember the name, then you might be able to do it, but it can be a little annoying. So yeah, you are probably not going to reasonably be able to do it. However, of course, we need to move on to the rest of the build, and there's just another very simple step coming up. We just copy what we have going on the walls here, and we repeat it up here, except we leave space for a balcony, because this is just a pretty biome to look at, even though there's too many trees to reasonably see anything from there. Then, you can just chop down some trees. So, make your walls, and pretend this side is also a wall area. So section it off and everything. So pretty simple yet again. So it's now time to work on our balcony because we got this nice new floor up here and I've added some new windows. You can add them on the corners, but don't add them on both sides of each corner. So what you want to do is, just repeat your fence design you have down there. And what do you know? Now I got a nice balcony. Because, well, there really isn't that much to it. You literally just place down 2 logs, depending on how big it is, place down some fences, some slabs, and oh no, it's already done. And there goes all the challenge. So, it's very easy to build a balcony. Now what you want to do is populate the interior with lighting on the walls, a ladder somewhere, or if you have enough room, a staircase, and just some normal utilities. So, I have now crammed this place full of utilities. We got some barrels here for some basic storage, although, the empty foundation of this place could also, substitute for that. We got all the blocks you'd ever need in here. We got some other side because, this binary fits that in Ward, which is pretty underrated as a music disc. Up here, we got a nice place. Rest in peace, Crimson Log. Now we have a new red. We got a nice THX horn, and some chest, an armor stand, and we need to do one more thing. A roof. So, roofs can be kinda annoying to do. But, a basic plan you can do is, you can start here, roughly. So, don't take this advice perfectly because of course it can change. And you want to go upwards, which is a constant whenever you do this. And it seems I've done this right. So, you go up, then you get a full block, or I just have slabs, you can do that too. You go right across, and you go one block out again. And you just copy that, go back down on both sides, and fill in the middle. So, a little complicated, so I'll just give you a little bit of a halfway through tip. Now, I have successfully made part of the roof, and it is a little hard to build a roof at times, but I have just done a couple of things to make it a little bit easier. So, you just start one block out from here. You go up to the middle, you go back down, pretty simple. You fill in the area you have here with deep slate tile stairs, which works like shingles on a roof, so good choice. And one other thing, we want to decorate these areas down here so that way they don't get too bland. So, simple way to do it, we got upside down stairs and surround these pillars. And what do you know, problem solved. So, do that for all the pillars, and you might have to do a little bit of modification to make it look good, but it's not too difficult, hopefully. So, roof done, and I have completed the sides. And it was pretty simple. I can just use copper as an accent, which should not be an issue considering I'm assuming you're in a mangrove swamp. There's bees everywhere. So, we now have the roof done, so I'd consider this build done. And it's just a simple house. Anyone could do it, just you need a little bit of mangrove wood, which can be quite a hassle, but, you know, it's just a house, and it allows you to live here. Except for one thing that I almost forgot. To do the ceiling on the interior on the second floor, just have 2 bands of mangrove logs going around, and fill them in with mangrove planks. So, almost forgot that, but it's a very simple solution, and don't forget to place a torch at the top, so that way you don't just have the inability to sleep, and a lot of noise is coming from the roof. So, with that, it's the end of today's video. If you enjoyed this video, remember, please like and subscribe, it really helps me out. So, with that, take care, enjoy the mangrove swamps. Gearsaw out.